Hello, good morning. Today's session will be about the Ajna chakra, so the energy center at the third eye point. And the third eye energy center is connected to the part of ourselves that is our intuition, our knowing of our inner truth, but also our knowing of what is right. And we've done a session before on the throat energy center. The throat energy center is, all the energy centers are linked. But when we are able to see with clarity, then the third eye center will be able to help us differentiate between conscious perception of what is true rather than being stuck in illusions, and illusions that are linked to old belief systems. So sometimes old habits, old belief systems, old memories of the past trigger reactions in the present that have nothing to do with the present as it actually is. So having a clear and balanced third eye energy center will help us between illusion and reality, and seeing reality for what it actually is. So we are going to do lots of practices where we focus on that point, so just physically focusing on that point. So let's start. So come into a seated position that is comfortable. I'm going to turn my... Find a way to sit that is comfortable, maybe slightly elevate your hips or sit on a chair, and take the flesh away from the sitting bones so that your sitting bones can go back, and this way the hip flexor can be open. And you can either sit in Siddhasana, heel, groin, or in Sukhasana, easy pose, or you can sit in half lotus or full lotus if that is available to you. So find the way that is comfortable for you. Another way to sit is Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose. This enables the back to be upright with ease. And if that is hard on your knees or your ankles, you can sit elevated on a bolster, having the bolster go vertically behind you, like I am doing with this blanket here. So that is another way doing that on the bolster. I will sit cross-legged, and I invite you to just find a way to connect to the uprightness, connecting by taking the chin in, bringing the spine into alignment, broadening width in the shoulders. Open with the hands, and perhaps bringing the index finger and the thumb together. So another quality of the third eye energy center is the capacity to manifest, to be creative with our thoughts, and creative in the sense of creation, actually consciously creating what will manifest around you. And the best way to do that is, rather than creating in a way that you say, I want this to happen and I want that to happen, actually create joy, create contentment, create peace. So if you start breathing through your third eye, which is located just between the eyebrows, and just inhaling a sense of peace into your being, just going into a feeling of contentment and calm and inner peace, and inhaling that through your third eye, then everything around you will align itself with peace and calm. And being open to how that might manifest. The third eye center is also associated with the color purple or indigo blue. So you can inhale the color purple through your third eye to the center of your head. And as you breathe out, allowing that color to spread outwards in all directions, like a purple flame, gradually getting larger and larger and larger, or a source of light that expands, spreading into every part of your physical body and spreading beyond your body until you are surrounded by a luminous purple bubble. Expanding endlessly into your being, infusing every part of your physical body and expanding into the space beyond your skin. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. For most energy centers, it is also very important that there is flow in all the other energy centers. So we are going to start with 3 ohms. The first ohm will be focusing on the roots. So imagining that every part of you that is in connection to earth is sending roots into the earth, vertically, horizontally. And if your imagination is able to do that, send those roots as far as you can to the center of the earth and soften into those roots. As you soften into those roots and open yourself to those roots, it's like opening a gateway. So as you give downwards and open downwards, you also receiving the strength and nourishment of earth into your being. Allowing yourself to feel safe, secure, held, and worthy. And we shall om into that. I encourage you to om along wherever you are doing this right now. So it's a ah-um sound as you focus on going down into those roots. Deep inhale. And then we focus on the heart, expanding the heart center in all directions with a kind, loving awareness. A kind, loving awareness of who you are as you are. Being open to whatever will reveal itself. And having a welcoming, appreciating gratitude of anything that will arise. So expanding the rib cage to make space for the lungs, to make space for the heart, to make space for the thymus gland in all directions, beyond the skin. And as you breathe out, already thinking the sounds ah, as that heart quality spreads into the periphery, reaching each cell within your physical body and beyond into the subtle bodies. Deep inhale. If you are sitting cross-legged and you need to change the cross of your legs, please do. You can do some circlings with your feet or briefly sit on a chair. Do whatever feels right. Don't force yourself to sit in a position or be in a position for longer than is comfortable for you. So if you need to change the cross of your legs, or if you need to maybe circle and shake out your ankles or anything in between, please do follow anything that feels right for you. You are your inner teacher. So now focus on the third eye. And one of the great practices to awaken the third eye is alternate nostril breathing. I would like today to invite you to do this just with your inner focus. So you inhale through your right, exhale through your left, just by focusing on the right nostril and the left nostril. And then inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. And this way we clear that bridge between those two energy lines, the nadi and the pingala, the feminine and the masculine within us, the rational and the imaginative, the doing part and the passive part, the receiving and the giving, the active and the still. So inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, in your own rhythm, with consciousness of that still point where it switches between the two sides. It's also where the sinuses are located. And of course you will breathe through both nostrils in some way or other, but by taking your concentration to one side, you will breathe in just a little more, and even just the mental focus on these two sides will activate those channels. And see if you can imagine drawing upwards from the sitting bones, from the roots, inhaling right all the way to the third eye center, exhaling down into the roots, and then inhaling from the roots, feeling that upward energy to the third eye, exhaling to the left. So inhale and breathe out, switching as you breathe out. Breathe out, breathe in on one side. Breathe out, breathe in on the other. Allow your shoulders to soften, allow your forehead to soften, allow your jaws to be relaxed, allow your eyes to soften. And then we will into that. So next time you inhale through your right, so do this in your own time. Next time you inhale through your right, allow the out breath through the left to be an sound. And then just sit for a moment. You can relax your legs if you need to. Sit for a moment, just perceiving. Has anything changed? Have you perhaps become a little stiller, more peaceful? So, to unblock the channel going from the roots all the way up, the best practice to do is twists. And the first twist that we will do today is a lying on your back twist. So if you take a moment to shift yourself onto your mat so that you are lying on your back with your knees bent like this. And have quite an open angle in your knees. Your feet are hip width apart, checking that your feet are hip width apart and aligned with your hips. Taking your arms out to the side. And just take a moment to free up the channel by going with your knees from one side to the other. Becoming aware of that changeover point where the feet connect to the ground and then going to one edge. See it like a massage for the soles of your feet. And have an imagination of those roots going into the ground. And then an imagination and an awareness of that spiraling up through your spine and opening those spaces between the vertebrae, like a channel or like a thread between beads of a necklace. Clearing out, opening up those spaces in between. And you can take your head in with the movement, so when your knees go down to the right, you can take your head to the left. Keep relaxing the shoulders into the ground, inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. And then find your way back into the middle and lift your hips, shift them to the right and put the hips back down on the ground. Then lift your knees so that your knees are a 90-degree angle above the hips. Make sure your shoulders have space. So spacious shoulders, open front of the body, palms facing up. If that is difficult for your arms up here, you can also go a little lower down, wherever your shoulders can feel spacious and broad and open and wide. And then pull your belly in and up. And as you pull your belly in and up, allow your knees to come down to the left. So the opposite side of where we shifted our hips. And stay above the ground just for a moment, feeling your abdominal muscles, feeling your belly muscles working. Breathing still, breathing deeply. Allow your face to be relaxed, as if this was no effort at all. And if this actually is no effort, then you can extend your legs out. You don't have to do this. Only if you can't feel any work happening in your abdominals. And you can take a moment to actually feel, are my abdominal muscles here working on the sides and on the front? Breathe deeply. Keep pulling in and up. So also an active work. Not just passively holding the legs up, but actively pulling the navel in and upwards, as if you're wearing trousers 2 sizes too tight. And then at some point, you just relax that down, breathing into the opposite shoulder. If that lifts your shoulder up too high, you have 2 choices, either putting a blanket or a block underneath your opposite shoulder, so the opposite shoulder to where the knees are down, your right shoulder, or you can actually put a bolster just underneath your knees here that you can rest onto. So see what works for you, adapt it to your needs, and then be with your breath. And then again, let your head go from one side to the other. See how that feels, visualizing that spiraling channel upwards, and at some point, looking over your right shoulder, away from the knees. Breathing deeply, inhaling into your third eye at this point, and you can again inhale that purple color. And perhaps you can see behind me there this amethyst. You can also, the amethyst is very closely connected to the third eye, the energy of the amethyst. So you can visualize inhaling the color of the amethyst and the quality of an amethyst through your third eye, as if you had an amethyst at the center of the head that you are activating with your breath, allowing that crystal to become more and more luminous, stronger. And then slowly coming back up, shifting your hip back to neutral, and just allowing the spine to settle back down again, feeling what has changed, feeling into your body. So those resting poses in between are just as important as the poses themselves, just looking in with open eyes to see what has changed physically for me, without any judgment, just observing the sensations. And then you can lift your hips, shift them to the left, put the hips back down, take the knees up. Of course, if you used blocks or blankets or bolsters, shift those to the other side. But it might be that you don't need them on this side. It might be that you need them even more. So every side might also be a little different. And don't judge that, just be with that. Allow your body to be your friend and show itself to you in its weaknesses and in its strength. Pull the navel in and up as you allow your knees to come down to the right. Hold them just above the ground so that your abdominals can work. And breathe, breathing into the opposite shoulder, breathing the opposite shoulder to the ground. And perhaps already you feel you want to put something underneath that opposite shoulder, then do that. Breathe deeply. Remember, if this is not hard work enough, then you can extend your legs. If this is a lot of hard work already, and you're starting to tense up a little too much, in particular in your shoulders, then you can already take your knees down to the ground. So be and do with what feels right for you. Working actively, pulling the navel in and up, passively holding the leg just above the ground. And then letting the knees drop. Adjust the pose so that it is right for your needs. So either putting something underneath your opposite shoulder or putting something underneath your knees. And then letting the head go from one side to the other. And then resting with your head looking towards the right. And breathing, inhaling through your third eye to that space in the center of the head. Another image closely associated with the third eye center is a night sky with endless galaxies of stars. So if you go inwards as if you were a space traveler, remember the last time you might have watched a film or a small video where someone was traveling through space and there are stars and stars and stars appearing. So imagine that happen as you inhale inward into the center of your head.
infinite number of stars appearing at random. Just as you inhale, and then spreading that center out into the rest of your body as you breathe out. And then slowly coming back, shift your hips back into a neutral position so your spine is realigned. Bring your arms back down and just notice what you notice. Notice your breath change as you just lie there. Notice the connection of your back to the ground. Notice your spine and any sensations that are there right now. Notice the connection of your feet to the ground. Notice your third eye center and how it feels right now. Okay, roll around onto your side and come into any seated position that is comfortable for you. So that can be on a chair, that can be on a bolster. So I will, for demonstration purposes this time, sit on a bolster, but you can also fold several blankets on top of each other to create the same lift. And the lift should be such that the bolster is not in connection with the thighs, so you're just sitting on it with your sitting bones. And then you can see here that the spine is automatically in a straight position. If that is available to you and your knees are able to do that comfortably, you can also just sit on your legs like this. So see what is available to you. And the first thing that we will do is we will clear the channel between the the channel of the third eye with eye movements. So what I would like you to do, and you can take something to rest your hands on if your arms get tired in a moment. What I would like you to do is just let your arms go into the space with your thumbs up, diagonally in front of you, so that you can, with both sides, kind of in the peripheral vision, see both your thumbs. And then let your eyes move. So as you breathe out, look to your left thumb. As you inhale, move. As you exhale, look towards your third eye. Inhale, move towards your right thumb. Without moving your head, it is just the eyes that move. Inhale to the middle. Inhale, moving to your left thumb. Exhale, looking at the left thumb. Inhale, moving your eyes to the third eye center. Exhale, looking at the right eye center. Third eye center. Inhale, look at the third eye. And be aware even of the smallest subtle movement of your head as you are doing this. See if you can move solely with the eyes. These practices are also good for our vision, to strengthen our eye muscles and to remove any blockages in the eyes. But be aware, if you have any eye condition, this might be a contraindication. So if you have glaucoma, for instance, this is not a practice for you, better not to do it. So last time, inhale, move the eyes to the left thumb. Exhale, looking at the left thumb. Do this in your own rhythm. Inhale, moving. Exhale, looking at the third eye. Inhale, moving. Exhale, looking at the right thumb. And we finish with the gaze towards the third eye. Let your arms drop and just gazing at the third eye and continue breathing. And then close your eyes for a moment. Rub your hands together. Make your hands really hot. And just cover your eyes for a moment. Without actually touching the eyes. So you're just sealing the space around the eyes with your hands. Feeling the warmth around your eyes. Keep the eyes closed and drop your hands. And just sit there for a moment, feeling into your eyes. Now we will do a second eye practice. Take your thumbs out in front of you. So shoulder level, aligning with the shoulders but going down towards your knees. And then look at your left thumb. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you go down. And then do the same with the right. Inhale as you come up. Making sure you don't move your head, you only move your eyes. Inhale left. In your own rhythm, in your own time. Exhale, come down. To the right. Keep switching between the two sides. Inhaling whilst you're going up. Exhaling whilst you're going down. Finish this practice and do what we did in between last time. So rub your hands together, covering your eyes, sealing the space around the eyes and just relaxing the eyes into that warm, dark space. Relax your shoulders. Increase the pressure as you inhale. Release it as you breathe out. But keep the seal connected. And then relax the hands down. Keep the eyes closed for a moment, just feeling. And the last practice we will do for the eyes is with circling thumbs. So again, we will start with the left thumb. And we will circle clockwise. Let me think clockwise. What way around is clockwise? It's this way around, going 12, 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's right. So allowing, again, the eyes to follow the thumb. And you are inhaling on the upper side of the clock, so from 9 to 3, and breathing out from 3 to 9 in the lower half. And just following with your eyes, not with your head. And then you do the same thing anti-clockwise. Following your thumb, inhaling when the thumb is in the upper half, exhaling when it is in the lower half. And there is a tendency that the head wants to move along, so see if you can firstly become aware of this without telling yourself off about it. Be gentle and kind with yourself as you are practicing. But then see if you can more and more just allow the eyes to move in the eye socket, and then let the hand rest and take the other side. So first clockwise. Inhale, upper half. Exhale, lower half. Once you have done 3 circles, go anti-clockwise. Inhaling from 3 to 9. Breathing out from 9 to 3. Rub your hands together. Let the hands become hot. Put them over your eyes for a moment, just to give your eyes a rest. Relax your shoulders. Stay in your uprightness. So these practices are really beneficial to do maybe every second day, ideally every day, but if that is not manageable for you, every second day or twice a week is a really, really good practice to keep your eyesight strong. Maybe even improving your eyesight. So the more regularly that you practice, the better the results. But it takes time, so be patient with yourself as well. Even if you just take one of the practices we just did. And then drop your eyes, keep your eyes closed. See how your third eye feels now. Just bring your awareness to that space, noticing what you notice. Okay, so the next practice we will do is we are going to stay here in this Vajrasana seat, so either on the bolster or directly on your heels, or if that is not available to you, of course, you can sit on a chair. And I want you to take your arms and put your hands, so the space between the thumb and the index finger, just around that front part of your armpits, and then squeeze. And stay like that for a moment, just squeezing that space. And again, inhaling through the third eye, exhaling into the space. So from that place at the center of your third eye, exhaling out into the space beyond. So you will notice that this session for the Ajna, third eye center, is a much calmer session than sessions focused on other energy centers. And that has to be so, because the third eye is related to consciousness, is related to inner stillness. Finding that inner still point that is always there amidst the busyness of life. Finding that inner voice of truth. And then let your hands drop, again noticing what you notice. This squeezing action, by the way, is also good if you have any blocks in your sinuses. Then that is an advisable practice to do, just pressing these points with your hands. Next, we will go into a posture from Vajrasana. So it doesn't matter, again, if you're sitting on a bolster or if you are sitting on your heels. If you are sitting on a chair, I would advise at this point to actually come down to the ground, because this is much harder to do on the chair, even though not impossible. And take one foot up. so that your foot is just in alignment with the hips here. Take the other hand onto your knee or towards the thigh, towards the knee, and you can bring the index finger and the thumb together. And then we're going to go into a relaxing hero pose by taking the elbow up and looking into the distance. That is all it is. Very easy. Just going into a mode of contemplation. This pose activates clear thinking, concentration and focus. So focus on inhaling through your third eye. You can close your eyes if you wish. Exhaling down into the periphery. So actually not exhaling down, exhaling 360 degrees, like a strobe light going in all directions, like a disco ball. Inhaling into the third eye, exhaling into space, beyond your physical body. Keep the uprightness of your body as you are sitting here. And then simply change this around. Take the other foot up. Softly plant the soles of the feet into the ground, really softening into the ground here. Taking your elbow towards your knee and just looking, placing your chin into the palm. But don't hunch, stay upright, stay really light on that hand, feel that connection to the ground. And take the other hand into chin mudra, index finger to thumb, and place it lightly on your knee. And go into that mode of contemplation, of inner stillness. Breathing into the center of your head from your third eye space. And become spacious. Become spacious in your body. Bring space around your thoughts. So if thoughts come, that is okay, that is normal. It is only whether we attach to the thoughts or not. And if you catch yourself attaching to the thoughts, as soon as you catch yourself, just bring your awareness back to your breath, into that channel from third eye to the center of the head. And noticing that gap every time you practice, becoming shorter and shorter, the gap between the thoughts arising and you attaching, and you becoming aware that you've attached to a thought. Allow your thoughts to more and more become like clouds in the sky. They come and they go. You might see a shape in the clouds, but it never lasts long. It just shifts into another space. So just go into that calm alertness. I don't know if you can, yes, you can still hear me, okay. And then undo that. And we are going to go, what did I have next? Gomukhasana, your favorite. Cow pose. So, life is often not just about what is pleasant and doing what is pleasant. One of the advantages of yoga is actually putting our body in slightly unpleasant sensations and being with that unpleasant sensation. As long as it's not a piercing pain, it has to be some kind of dull achy sensation. So see how you can do this. You can, of course, still use your bolster, but I will not. I will demonstrate it with the bolster first, perhaps. So this time, as you sit on the bolster, again, take the flesh away from the sitting bones, and then take the knee of the lower leg. So let's say we start with our left leg down, and then take the top leg on top as much as you can towards aligning the knees on top of each other. But it might be that for you the position is here. It doesn't matter where it is, just find what is available to you. And as I said, I am going to do this on the ground. The lower to the ground you are, the more you will feel this here in your hips. But everyone, as always, feels the sensation slightly differently. So find what is available to you. Breathe into your legs. And as we have the left leg on the ground and the right leg on top, we are going to replicate the opposite with our arms. So right leg on top means right arm underneath, left arm on top. So the left arm doing the opposite of the left leg. The left leg is underneath, the left arm is on top. If you can't here reach your hands, so let me show you from the back. You have two choices. Either taking your scarf or your belt, if you have one, and bringing the hands towards each other like this. Make sure you have spaciousness in your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders down. And then make sure that your head remains upright as well. The other choice is, if you don't have a belt or a scarf and your hands can't reach each other, just keep the left arm on top and hold on to the elbow with the other arm to give yourself that stretch of the triceps. And then breathing into that space on your third eye as you are doing this. And breathing that spaciousness into wherever you are feeling the sensation. So for some of you, the sensation might be quite intense right now. I think on a day like today, you might be happy that you're not in the studio with me because it's incredibly hot. I'm actually probably doing hot yoga right now. Reminds one of being in India. Open and relax. Feeling, relaxing the legs and changing around. But take a moment perhaps for contemplating in between, seeing what has changed. How do you feel? And then bringing that knee in alignment with the groin, if you can, and the upper leg on top. If that is not available for you, if that is uncomfortable and gives you piercing sensations in your knees or something like that, then please just place the foot on the ground wherever that can feel open and spacious for you. If that is available at all for you and you just have a dull, achy sensation, even if it is quite intense, just breathe into it with a spacious inner quality. And then, as before, lower right leg, upper right arm, hands reaching for each other with the belt or with the scarf, or just taking the opposite hand. So left hand pulling on right elbow, maintaining the uprightness. There is a tendency to take the head down here, so keep the head in alignment with the spine. Even shift the chin slightly back, tucking in the chin, so the back of the head is aligned with your tailbone. Remain light. Inhale through your third eye, exhaling into space, breathing into space. And what's really good here in this one, if you want to try that out, is again inhaling through your left to the third eye, exhaling through your right. So just shifting your focus across. Just your attention going from the left to the right. So you keep traveling through that third eye center, clearing that channel. For those of you that like hip openers, this is just another angle. This is just another way to come towards those hip muscles, those muscles around the hips. You get those tiny little muscles on the side. And then slowly undo. Come into any position that is comfortable for you. In fact, let's stretch the legs out for a moment. Bring the legs wide. Be playful with your toes. Playful with your ankles. Circling your ankles in both directions. Shaking your feet out, shaking the right, shaking the left. One side usually works better than the other when you try shaking. Good. And then sit with this open, wide position as far as you can come for a moment. You can also still stay, obviously, on your blocks and find the lightness in between. Just sit in that upright position for a moment, relaxing the shoulders down, lengthening the back of the neck, feeling into your crown, relaxing into space, softening your legs into the ground. Okay, so next we are going to go into equestrian position, or Ashwa Sanchalanasana. Try and say that. Ashwa Sanchalanasana. So I'm going to demonstrate this sideways like this. You can take a half block underneath your back knee. So take your right leg back, your left leg forward. And make sure when you take your hips forward that the angle of your knee is at least a 90-degree angle. And I would recommend, especially today, the way we want to do this, to take some books or some bolsters or whatever you have available to give yourself a lift. Opening the front of the body, have the hands just underneath the shoulders. And then relax your hips into space, feeling the stretch around the hip flexor, so the front top of your right leg, the leg that is at the back. And then relaxing the shoulders down, bringing width in between your shoulders. So see this here, this width in the shoulders. Instead of this, you bring the shoulders down and make them wide. And then bring the chin up slightly, extending the chin forward, stretching the underside of the throat here. And then focusing on the third eye as you relax your hips down. Breathe from the third eye into wherever you have the sensation. By the way, if you have pain on your kneecap at all, then move your knee forward on that block so that the kneecap is free of the block and the rest of the shin supported on the block, so that there's nothing touching your kneecap. Change that around. Take the other leg forward. Spaciousness in your shoulders first. Softly connecting to the ground, spreading the toes, connecting down. Wide shoulders, spaciousness between shoulders and ears. Chin up, as if you wanted to show your third eye to the sun, allowing the sun to shine into your third eye. Obviously, if you are in a room, just imagine the sun shining beyond that room. And if it's a cloudy day, imagine the sun behind the clouds shining towards you, clearing the space. Relax your hips down, up to where you find that point that is a 5 or 6 out of 10 sensation that you can still breathe into in a relaxed, spacious way.
If your breath becomes tight, come out a little, ease out a little. Breathe deeply. Breathing in through your third eye, expanding into space on the out breath. And then relax. Come up to standing. We are going to do one yoga pose. I have actually never taught that yoga pose in class that we will do in a moment. And one Bodhma pose. The Bodhma pose we will do is called the domes. So it is about clearing the channel coming from up above. Clearing the channel to the open possibilities in space. So just allow yourself to stand for a moment, relaxing your feet into the ground, relaxing your knees, relaxing your hips, relaxing your shoulders. Softening your feet into the ground. And doing any movements with your toes or with your heels or with your arches that allow you to soften with more ease. Then relax your knees. Bring uprightness to your pelvis by attaching the helium balloon, the bunch of helium balloons to the space below the navel. And if those helium balloons rise, when they rise, you bring an uprightness so that the spine can just sit in a relaxed way on that upright pelvis. And you feel the energy rising up the front, lifting the solar plexus, coming down the back, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, extending the back of the neck, shifting the head slightly back, so it's this movement coming back, tucking the chin in, and this way the back of your head and your pelvis are aligned. And as you take your awareness upwards, just check in again. Are my feet still softening into the ground? Are my hands still relaxed? Fingertips extending to the ground, feeling the ground beyond your fingertips, imagining invisible golden threads like extended feelers being moved from the space beyond. So sometimes we have to imagine it, fake it till you make it. So imagine the space moving you. How would your muscles move if the space moved you until the arms are in the horizontal? Turn your palms, allowing the palms look at the space up above, imagining the sky beyond the room you're in, and being drawn upwards towards the sky, relaxing the shoulders down, keeping spaciousness in the shoulders, but extending the arms up until the palms face each other. Hands are shoulder width apart. And then twisting forward so that your right arm comes forward, twisting the body, but the gaze remains forward, opening that space to allow the width of the sky to come in. Maybe even connecting to your personal star up in the sky and allowing its light to flow into you. Changing to the other side, coming back to the middle, opening, receiving, turn, and palms down. And then we do the same, starting with the other side. Extending into space with your fingertips, as if your fingertips were touching everything beyond you that they are pointing towards. So I am now touching a plant to my left, touching the glass to my right. Opening the palms upwards. Touching the ceiling, relaxing the shoulders down, elbows straight as much as possible. And this time the left arm goes forward, the right arm goes back, receiving the space into your being.
Opening your being to space. The body twists, the gaze remains forward. Feeling that openness flow in, as if you were tracing a dome, a round dome above your head. Turn the palms, come down. And just feel into that space. See what has changed. Feeling into your thoughts. How are your thoughts right now? Is there a tight quality around your thoughts, or are your thoughts feeling spacious? Are they busy, or are they calm? And what do you feel? What do you feel physically? What do you feel as emotions in your body? And where are these emotions sat? Okay, the next pose we will do is called Nata Varasana. And this one is really, really nice. I don't often see that one in yoga classes, but I have learned to really love it in my personal practice. So if you take your feet, let me see, how am I best visible? Yes, that's it. So have your feet again about hip width apart, really connecting your feet into the ground, softening down into earth, establishing your roots. Pulling the belly in and up, pulling the navel in and up. That gives firmness to your core. Relaxing the shoulders down, connecting the crown. And then bring your weight more and more towards your right leg, softening the right leg into the ground. Make sure you are connecting through your toes, to the ball of your foot and the heel. In fact, broadening that space of your soul connection to the ground. Softening the heel. Softening the center of the ball of the foot into the ground. And still maintaining that connection through your crown. So if you draw a line from your ears up to the middle of your head, to the top of your head, it would be slightly behind the middle of the top of the head. And feel that connection of that thread holding you lightly in space. And then take your leg across here. So this is not a tree pose. You're taking the back of your foot towards your outer ankle. So your toes towards your outer ankle and your knees pointing to the side. So I'll come a little closer so you can see this better. Like this. That's it. And then your hands go into this mudra. This is the Krishna mudra. So Lord Krishna. And wherever your knee is pointing now, so if you have your right leg up, then your knee will be pointing towards your right. You're going to take your arms sideways next to you here, as if you were holding up Krishna's flute. So often in pictures you will see Krishna depicted as playing on his flute. So taking your hands up like this, aligned. So find that straightness between the mouth and the hands. And then the head looking to the opposite side, slightly tilting. So really imagining playing on that flute. Slightly taking the chin up and the head down. And again breathing through your third eye. Holding that focus, softening into your legs. The knee is relaxed. Smile, forehead relaxed, jaws relaxed. You can even be playful with your head slightly here. That will affect your balance. If you're feeling safe and secure, take your head slightly from right to left. And then release. Come into the middle, just stand there for a moment, feeling into your feet, feeling what has changed, relaxing your hands. Bring your weight onto your right foot, spreading the toes on the ground, really connecting down, feeling those roots flowing into the ground. And take your left leg. Once you have established your balance, pull belly in and up, lift the front of the body, relax the back of the body, shift the head back, align the back of the head with your tailbone, and take the back of the foot against the outer ankle. So the toes can even slightly touch the ground here. They don't have to be lifted up high. So I have my toes not touching the ground right now. They are just slightly off the ground, but do what feels right for you. What matters is that openness, that knee points to the side. Relax your knee, your standing knee. Fingers into that position, so index finger and little finger up, and the thumb on top of the index finger and the ring finger. And then taking the hands up as if you were holding that flute level with the mouth. And then slightly looking away from your flute and tilting the head. Breathing, inhaling deeply, relaxing the shoulders down. Focusing on the third eye. Inhaling creativity into your being. Exhaling into space. And if you wish to do a little tilt, like a dance with your head, please do. If that is too hard for you to balance whilst moving the head, which is quite natural, you can either connect your toe down to the ground, or you can just keep your head tilted sideways. Remember the shoulders spacious, relaxed downwards. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. We are now going to go back to the ground, and the last thing we are going to do is come into a Sphinx pose. So lie on your front. I'm going to show this sideways. Lie on your front for a moment with your hands underneath your forehead and just feel. Notice what you notice. Relax your shoulders. Let your arms become spacious. Let your arms, hands, legs, hips, trunk soften into the ground. And then stay with your forehead on top of the hands and stretch the right leg away from you, lengthening the hip flexor, stretch, 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 and then with that length, put that leg down onto the ground again. And then the left leg, stretch, stretch into the periphery. Make it really, really long. And then calming back down again. Do that a couple of times with each leg until you have established a nice length in that hip flexor. The hip flexor is the muscle that goes through the pelvis, attaching to the middle of the spine. Once you have done this, relax your hip into the ground, come onto the elbows. In fact, align the elbows to the side of your chest. Palms facing the ground. Shoulders away from the ears, extending the back of the head upwards and pushing your body up as far as is comfortable for you. Pull the belly in and up to stabilize your lower spine, to bring steadiness to the lower spine. And then keep uprighting from this chest region. Come into this gentle back bend. Keep relaxing the hips and the lower lumbar region, the lower back region into the ground, and just curling up, bending up the upper portion of the spine. The middle portion and upper portion. Taking the chin slightly up, lifting, stretching the chin forward to stretch the underside of your throat. So not taking the head too far back, just still remaining in alignment, still feeling that length coming from your crown. And breathing in through your third eye. Sphinx pose. And then you can lift your right foot, tuck your chin in, and look over your left shoulder to look at your right foot. Breathe deeply. And then same to the other side. Tuck the chin in, lift your left foot, look over your right shoulder until you can see that foot, the toes, out of the corner of your eyes. And come back to the middle. Bring the hands back down onto the ground, forehead onto the hands. Notice what you notice. So this next one, we're going to do just one more pose, I promise. It's called the dolphin pose. If you've already had quite a satisfying practice, you can actually already lie on your back, preparing for relaxation. But if you would like to join me in dolphin pose, you will need either a block or a book the size of a block, or a belt. And what you will do with the belt is you bring that belt into a loop that allows your elbows to be about shoulder width apart. So I need it just a little wider, like this, shoulder width apart. And you can now either bring your hands around your book or cork block, or do this without the cork block. So you can see that here. The belt is making sure that my elbows don't slide out. So we are going for dolphin pose here. And then bring your knees hip width apart and just stay here for a moment. In fact, you can round your back into the hill position, valley position. Just take a moment to release any tension out of your spine if there is any. Let your head dangle. As you come into the round position, bring your head up. As you come into the valley position, then tuck your toes under and lift your hips upwards away from the shoulders. But make sure that you keep your shoulders as much as possible on top of your elbows. And then extend the sitting bones back from the shoulders. Let your head dangle. Let your head relax. And let your heels gravitate towards the ground. Dolphin pose. So this is like a half downward dog. You can also do this with the arms on top of a chair. Let the head dangle down like a rag doll. And then bring the knees back down to the ground. Come into child pose. This time we do the child pose with the legs next to each other. And just bring your third eye to the mat. Just allowing your shoulders to relax, your arms to relax. Breathing deeply, noticing what you notice. And noticing what you notice without any inner interpretations of what you notice, just allowing things to arise and to fade. Without grasping, without holding on, just allowing. Again, it doesn't matter if this is in the physical, in your breath, in your mind, or in your heart. Or maybe even from somewhere beyond, from your eye consciousness. Slowly rise up out of child pose and make yourself ready for 3 different options of relaxation today. So one possibility is that you have a chair and you put your legs on that chair to give a slight lift and a slight inverted quality to your relaxation pose, to your meditation pose. So you could lie like this. That is really nice. Or with a bolster, you know this one? Bolster under the knees, feet together, knees apart. Shoulders spacious, palms facing up. That is really beautiful as well. Just lying there in space, feeling your breath. Or classic corpse pose, tucking the shoulders under a little to bring more spaciousness to your chest, lengthening the back of your neck, palms facing up. Relaxing the legs one at a time to bring spaciousness to your hips, knees and ankles, relaxing your feet, and just lie there for a moment observing your breath. Bringing awareness to your breath. And then become aware again of that meeting point in between the 2 channels, the Ida and the Pingala Nadi. Ida being the feminine, parasympathetic, quiet space. Associated with recovering and relaxing and intuition. Pingala being the doing space, the doing channel in your body. The masculine element. And where these 2 channels meet at the third eye center, that is a point of inner stillness, of steadiness. So take a moment to feel into that crossover point, feeling into the center of your head. And hold your awareness there, allowing your awareness to become subtle. Clearing once more that channel, inhaling from your left toes all the way up to the third eye. Breathing out from your third eye down. So you again come into that rhythm, that change of rhythm, inhaling through your left, breathing out through your right, from the third eye center to the right toes, inhaling through the right toes to the third eye center, breathing out through the left, with awareness of that still point in between, in the third eye between the inhale and the out breath, in the space beyond your feet, the roots, after the out breath. And you can imagine that space on your third eye being like a wheel. And normally that wheel, the awareness of that wheel will not be at the center where it is still. It will be outward in the world, active in the world, busy with lots of thoughts. And we want to bring that awareness into the center of that wheel, into that still point, that even when the outer world is moving, that still point remains still. So the attention isn't split between the outer parts of that wheel. The attention is drawn inwards to that one point at the center. That one point at the center of your head. Soften into that point. And bring your awareness deeper and deeper into that point, bringing your awareness into that image of infinity, as if that was a dark night sky with lots of stars, and you gaze further and further into that sky within the center of your head, traveling in deeper and deeper and deeper, where something in you is hardly able to distinguish whether you are traveling inwards into the center of your head or traveling outwards into space. Where it becomes one. Infinite, timeless, spacious. The boundaries merge. And instead of going between the left and the right with your awareness now, just rest your breath in that point at the center. Inhaling purple, indigo blue, luminously into that space at the center. Infinitely expanding into your depth. The more you expand into the depth, the more you expand also into space. Love that space. Ground yourself into that space. Soften into that space. I would leave you in silence for a moment, just to feel into that space. And then I will conclude with the mantra. And after the mantra, you can lie there for as long as that feels right, with that imagination on the spaciousness of the third eye. Om Trayambakam Jajamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste, with love and blessings.